Most people think divorce in India takes 6 months. They're wrong. The truth is messier, slower, and honestly, more human than the law allows for. Here's what actually happens when you file. First thing, there are two paths. Mutual consent divorce, where both partners agree and file together, that's the fast track. Then there's contested divorce, where one person files and the other doesn't agree. The paths are completely different in timeline, cost, and emotional toll. Let's start with mutual consent. Both of you agree it's over. You get a lawyer. Fees typically range from 8,000 rupees to 25,000 rupees depending on whether you use a junior advocate or senior one in a metro. You file a joint petition with the family court in your jurisdiction. Then comes the waiting period. The court must give you a 6-month cooling off period before they even hear the petition. People think this is to save the marriage. It's not. It's statutory. You can't skip it. After 6 months, you file the same petition again in the same court. Once you file the second petition, which lawyers call the final petition, the court usually takes another 2 to 8 weeks to grant the decree. So best case for mutual consent? 6 months and 2 to 3 weeks. But here's what most people don't know. If your family court is backlogged, it can stretch to 8 or 9 months easily. Delhi and Mumbai courts are notorious for this. Contested divorce is where time explodes. One person files, the other fights back. The court must serve notice on the other spouse. Then they file a written statement saying they don't agree. The court tries mediation, sometimes multiple sessions. If mediation fails, the case goes to trial. Contested divorces routinely take 3 to 5 years. I've seen cases stretch to 7 years in busy benches. Let's talk costs honestly. Mutual consent, lawyer fees 8 to 25,000 rupees, court filing fees around 500 to 1,500 rupees depending on your state. Total realistic cost, 10,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees. Contested. Multiply that by 5 or 6. You are looking at 50,000 rupees to 2 lakhs rupees easily if there's property involved or if your spouse keeps dragging it out. Here's a contrarian take. Most people think contested divorce is about proving fault, who cheated, who was cruel. But under the Hindu Marriage Act, fault barely matters anymore. What matters is whether the court believes the marriage is irretrievably broken. Courts look for cruelty under Section 13 of the Hindu Marriage Act, desertion, adultery, or living separately for 2 years. The proof people spend money on often doesn't matter as much as they think it does. Mediation is built into the process now. The family court will usually push both parties toward it before trial. Sometimes it works. Many times it doesn't. But here's the honest part. If one spouse is genuinely hostile, mediation is theater. You are paying for it, sitting through it, and going to trial anyway. That's just how contested cases work. One more thing people get wrong, getting a divorce decree doesn't immediately divide property or settle maintenance. That's a separate process. A family court can order maintenance for a spouse or children as part of the divorce. But property division, especially in joint families, can go to civil court or be settled separately. The divorce itself is just the legal end of the marriage. So what's the single most useful thing to know? If both of you genuinely want it over, get on the same page about it legally and file mutual consent immediately. Delay doesn't help. If it's contested, accept that you are in for years. Get a realistic lawyer who won't promise you a fast timeline. And honestly, try mediation seriously, at least one session. Some couples surprise themselves. If you are navigating family law in India or thinking about it, subscribe for breakdowns that don't sugarcoat the timeline or the cost. We cover what the law actually says, how courts actually work, and what actually happens. New videos every week.